Welcome to J&T's Reactions.
What's going on, you guys? It's J&T's here, and we are pumping out videos again.
Yep.
Properly this time. We did stick to it quite a while, but obviously
we did.
In the little short video that we did explain what was going on. Yeah. But we are getting the videos pumped back out now. We are keeping track of it, and we are reacting to pranks gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, extremely wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Extreme.
Well, we are
extreme!
Damn! Well, apparently they're extreme, but we don't know because we haven't seen the video yet, so we'll have to judge that.
Yeah. Let's get into the
video! World list!
Number 10. Failed robbery prank. Timothy Wilkes plotted one of the most reckless pranks ever. Timothy and one of his friends wanted to film the reactions people had when they were being robbed at knife point.
Oh.
It doesn't take a genius to realize this is a horrible prank to pull off on people. If you're going to pretend to rob a stranger with a fake knife, chances are some of those strangers are not going to react very well.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. The two friends chose the parking lot of an urban air store in Hermitage to do their robbing, and that's when everything went horribly wrong. Timothy and his friend decided to pull the prank on a group of people hanging out in the parking lot. The prank didn't go quite as planned. Timothy pulled out his knife, and one of the people he was trying to rob pulled out a gun. His name is David Starnes Jr., and he felt threatened enough to pull out a very real weapon and shoot Timothy Wilkes dead on the spot.
Oh, damn!
Fair, it's technically self-defense, since Timothy did pull out a knife on a complete stranger. And as if the prank wasn't bad enough, with Timothy Wilkes dead, his friend may be facing some time in prison for his participation in it. Even though it was a prank, they did try to commit a fake robbery, and that led to his friend being murdered.
Oh, there's a difference between a prank and a stupid freaking idea.
I'd love to know what goes through people's heads. Go, yeah, do you know what, bro? Do you go rob an old woman for funny and see what happens?
Why not? Go into the middle of bloody Sainsbury's or something like in front of loads of people and just go...
Give me your money! Wait, what?
Give me your melons!
Oh, wow.
I can't cope with people sometimes. It's absolutely
Stop
ridiculous.
Gaming. In 2022, it doesn't make sense to game without getting something back. Yes?
Nah.
Number 9. Eggs of death. In the worst egging prank ever, a teenager has been charged with murder. Normally, throwing eggs does not lead to people dying. In fact, throwing eggs has been a teenage tradition for decades. But in Houston, Texas, the 14-year-old went a little too far. He hasn't been identified for privacy reasons, but he was behind the wheel of a vehicle in which two of his passengers were tossing eggs out of their windows at other cars. The other drivers on the road were obviously furious, and one particularly angry person began to chase the teenagers. The person sped after them through the streets, which prompted the teenage driver to run through a red light. When he ran the red light, he hit another vehicle and killed the woman inside, a completely innocent bystander. The victim was 45-year-old Sylvia Zavala, who had just been out shopping and was on her way home. The teens in the car didn't receive any serious injuries. The driver, who had actually been chasing the teenagers, hasn't had any legal action taken against him. It looks like the only person getting in any serious trouble is the driver. At only 14 years old, it's safe to say the rest of his life isn't looking so great.
14-year-old man.
Wait a second, where do people let their 14-year-old drive?
It's legal in some states.
I know America's 15.
I know there's a lot of states in around that you can still drive at 14.
Damn, kids aren't bloody old enough to drive.
We've got to be 18, 17 before we can legally drive.
Which is fair enough. I even think it's still too young to bloody be driving a vehicle that can kill people.
There is some responsibility, but some people just like to be like, what's the right word without upsetting any people? Is like
irresponsible.
No,
not thinking.
People are just motorheads. They just like to put a foot down and see what happens.
Yeah, they're thrill seekers.
Yeah, they love the thrill just to go fast and see if they can get the chase or get any response. But at the end of the day, it's not worth you driving so fast, putting other people in danger.
No, it's not. I don't agree with the fact that the guy that was speeding after the other guys didn't get any action taken onto him, because he should have got a ticket for speeding. at least a ticket for speeding, because no matter what, you're still speeding. Even people, when the partner's giving birth and they're speeding to hospital, they still get a ticket for speeding.
But anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah.
It's the boy's sentence, but he could be spending the rest of his
A
teenage
14-year-old, man. He hasn't even explored life properly yet.
No.
Number 8, stop sign fail. You would think that by the time you hit your 20s, you would stop cooking up dangerous pranks. Yet for 3 friends, they lived for coming up with the craziest prank they could think of.
I mean, me and you were 24 and 25. I'm going 25 next.
15 years
But
in prison.
me and you do some
Kids
pranks,
thought
but
it
we
would
don't
be
Yeah,
take
not
it.
to
They
extreme.
removed the stop
We'll do
sign
like
as part of the
little
prank,
tiny ones that
and
are
then
not
watch the
harmless or all
destruction that
that.
ensued. They had anticipated maybe a small car crash, but they hadn't expected that 3 teenagers would drive directly into the path of a massive 8-ton truck. All 3 teens were killed because of the accident, and the 3 pranksters were charged with manslaughter.
Oh,
It was
damn.
honestly one of the most shocking court cases involving a prank. Judge Bob Mitchum said it best when he told the defendants, "There are no winners in this case. The dead teenagers were all 18 and had been heading home after a night of bowling. Since there were no stop sign at the intersection, they didn't even think about slowing down. They blew right into the intersection where the huge truck broadsided them." Originally, the recommended sentence was 50 years each in prison. However, the judge understood that it was just a prank, and so he sentenced each of them to only 15 years. By the time they
Nah.
get out, hopefully they'll be done.
No.
with their
They should have given him 50 years.
They're literally destroying public bloody stuff. That sign could have killed even a younger person.
18 still young.
Yeah. But I mean, like a child as well. I mean, no matter the age, it's still bloody killing someone at the end of the day, isn't it? They should have got life.
They should have done the 50 years.
Yeah. It's stupid. Some people might not agree.
But then
some
again, there
might
is-
disagree.
But you've got to look at it though. People want to have fun.
No,
And
no,
in
but
this
that
day and
stop
age-
sign's there for
I
a
know
reason.
that, but like you said, it's in consideration. It's a prank, and they're still doing 15 years. But I guarantee they'll never do that again.
No,
Never.
no.
I know I won't.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't even mess with all that anyway.
Exactly, I wouldn't even think of doing that.
Number 7, under the lawnmower.
I mean, what goes through your head? Say, yeah, you're
Didn't
gonna take a
turn
stop
out
sign down
quite
and just
the
off
way
at
it was
best to see if
planned
anyone
when the
crashes.
police were
No.
phoned and paramedics were scrambled. Somebody in rural North Carolina thought it would be funny to put a fake torso underneath a lawnmower and then sprinkle the torso with fake blood. To those who were driving by, it either looked like a funny Halloween decoration or a very real dead person who had been run over by their lawnmower. But perhaps the most unsettling part about the prank was that whoever did it didn't put any other decorations in the yard. There was nothing to indicate it was a prank. There were no skeletons, no Halloween signs, literally nothing except what appears to be a dead person. Well, somebody passing by thought there had been a terrible accident. They called 911, gave their location, and then even tried to rescue the person underneath the lawnmower. Imagine his distress when he moved the lawnmower and uncovered a dummy. Not only was he embarrassed, he was angry. The police and ambulances had to be canceled, and he drove away fuming. He didn't even have anyone to blame because the lawn where the prank was set up was beside a driveway leading to a small community of houses. Anyone could have done it. There was no way to figure out who actually did the prank. What would you do if you saw this very scene while driving down the road? Would you stop to call the police or simply keep going?
Just simply
Let us
keep
know in the
going.
comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Number 6, sparkler through the window. The police recently arrested an 18-year-old kid named Eric Morelli in connection with the shocking death of Kristen Milano, killed at only 19 years old. Eric was walking down the street with some friends when he came up with a prank. He was going to light a sparkler and then throw it through the second-floor window of an apartment that belonged to one of his friends. The intention was to just scare whoever was inside. What Eric hadn't
literally
anticipated
fire.
was that the girl inside wouldn't realize a sparkler had just been thrown into her window. The sparkler landed on the floor, started a fire, and the poor girl who was home never had any idea. She was asleep beside where the sparkler landed, and in just a few minutes, she had suffocated from smoke inhalation. Nobody even knew until they ran upstairs to put out the fire, discovering her dead body. Since the accident, Eric has been charged with manslaughter
Oh,
and reckless
wow.
endangerment.
What an absolute
all
idiot.
because of some silly prank. Number 5, toilet paper getaway. A homecoming prank had left 3 students dead in Georgia. A trio of teen
toilet
girls
paper
were killed
getaway.
early one morning
This sounds
after
funny.
their car smashed into a group of trees as they desperately fled from a friend's house where they had been pulling a prank. They were all TPing another one of their friends' houses and it was all fun and games
Still love the
until the
word
deadly
TP,
car
it's
crash.
so funny.
The reason they were speeding away from the scene is that the owner of the house had come outside and caught them in the act. So, they fled as quickly as they could. But to make matters worse, the girl who was being pranked, her parents ran out of the house, got in their pickup truck, and tried to chase the teenage girls. According to what the parents told Cobb County Police, they were just trying to get the license plate number. Whatever they were trying to do, the girls were desperate enough to speed and drive recklessly. The reckless driving landed them straight in the grave, while 3 other girls who were involved walked away with only minor injuries. In this case, no charges have been laid against anybody, not the parents who were trying to chase down the children, and not the other children involved in the prank.
Where the parents died.
Number 4, Ding Dong Revenge.
I don't
A
know.
California man is in some serious trouble after
Ding
intentionally
dong
driving his car
revenge.
into another car, resulting in the deaths of 3 teenage boys inside. He used his car like a battering ram to murder the poor 3 kids. And while they might not be completely innocent, after all, they were murdered in revenge to a prank they pulled. They still didn't deserve what happened to them. Here's how it all started. The 3 kids were ringing people's doorbells and then running away. It's a classic prank.
We play
And then
knock a
it
door
noticed
run and
the
stuff like that, but
adults
I haven't been chased at a point where my life's
Well,
been threatened
when
like
they
that.
rang the
No.
doorbell of
And I'm just going and then walk back in.
Yep.
Things got real serious, real fast. The grown man was so angry that the kids pulled this prank on him that he got into his car and started chasing them. He was in such a blind rage that he simply wouldn't let up. The teens were driving a Toyota Prius with Honorong in his Infiniti Q50. Once he finally caught up to the kids, he rammed the rear end of the Prius, sent it skidding across the road, and it ultimately smashed into a tree. By the end of the day, Daniel Hawkins, Jacob Ivescu, and Drake Ruiz were all dead. The 3 boys were each 16 years old. The driver,
Jesus.
who was 18, managed to survive. Honorong is now facing 3 counts of attempted murder and will probably face life in prison without
Probably.
the possibility of
Good.
parole. Number 3.
Do not need to
Stupid
chase
Most
them.
definitely.
a bouncer
No,
thought it would be
no,
hilarious to
just
light
kids.
somebody's costume on fire at a bar. Unfortunately for everyone involved,
Excuse me,
it wasn't
what?
that funny. The guy in the costume was burned pretty severely and almost died. It happened at a nightclub in the United Kingdom. Sean Collins was
Straight in
celebrating
UK.
his 21st birthday. He thought it would be hilarious to dress up like a sheep. He even made the costume
Brilliant
by hand
idea.
using cotton wool balls and hairspray. But when Sean was standing in the smoking area of the club, Thomas McGinnis casually flicked his lighter and set Sean's costume aflame. What's really scary about this is that Thomas had been pranking the guy all in his own head. He didn't have any accomplices. He wasn't doing it for anyone around and just thought it would be funny. But it wasn't funny when Sean turned into a giant human fireball. Even though spectators managed to put the fire out, Sean was so severely burned that he needed to go to the hospital and nearly died. He had burns across 12% of his body, mainly to his hands and forearms. He had to get skin grafts and missed the last 2 months of his courses at university. He also had to give up his job and now faces 2 years of treatment. It's a total mess. And all because
Jesus.
a doorman at a nightclub thought he was quite the prankster. The only silver lining is that the prankster got what was coming to him. He first denied to the police that he had lit Sean's costume on fire, instead saying it was somebody's cigarette who lit the costume. Surveillance footage from the club shows a different story.
See, if there were
Thomas
no
McGinnis
cameras, he could have got
clearly
away
was
with
seen
that.
purposely lighting
Yeah.
Sean on fire. He has since been jailed and will be spending 18 months locked up.
18 months, is that it?
Starting an online
He's basically
store is
ruined that
easier
guy's
than you
life.
think. Let me show you how to quickly
That
open
guy's
a
confidence
shop.
is going to go down. He's gonna
Exactly.
he'll get depressed because he
will.
won't want to go out.
He's basically bedbound. Probably not bedbound, but he can't do nothing for 2 years. And then even after them 2 years, he's going to have scars and everything that he'll
He'll have to take antidepressants. He'll have to take other tablets to numb the pain and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
His life's ruined because of that guy, and he's only getting 18 months. It's ridiculous. The law system, it's ridiculous.
People
Worst
get
prank.
more for dealing drugs
In
and
a
doing stuff
disturbing
like
case
that.
study on how kids use TikTok, a young girl was left crying and traumatized. 2 15-year-old girls decided to play an extremely cruel prank on one of their sisters. One of the girls hid inside of a closet while the friend called her sister into the room, pretended to cry, and explained that her parents had just been killed in a brutal car accident. The whole point behind the terrible prank was to get the reaction of the 8-year-old crying, so that the teenage girls could post it on TikTok. Naturally, this didn't go the way the teenagers had planned. They had obviously been watching way too much TikTok for their own good. Even after they told the 8-year-old that her parents were still alive and it was all just a joke, she was horribly upset. The mothers involved were even more upset, especially since the intention had been to humiliate the child on the internet in front of millions of people. One of the parents even took away her daughter's phone for the rest of the year, refusing to give it back, even when the girl had a meltdown. It's been suggested that these kids might need therapy for their cruel act, or at least to be taught a lesson in how to be respectful.
I'm sorry,
humans.
but the youngest one should need
And number
therapy.
1, death by prank.
It's not that. If someone came to me for a prank saying that, oh, your parents have been murdered. He's done the biggest stutter of my life. If someone came up to me as a prank saying that your parents have been brutally murdered,
Yeah.
right, just to get your reactions, put it on a social website. I'm not trying to sound harsh or stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure I'd just end my own life because I think that my parents are dead.
That literally, some people, their parents is their whole life, and they've got nothing else to live for, and they're just living for their parents. And then someone just randomly comes up to them and says, "Your parents have been murdered." They will kill themselves.
Just for a prank, and then it's not that, 'cause then people would end up bullying you.
Yeah.
And then people just take it out of context and just take it out of way. So then you're left to trying to figure out what the hell's going on and why is it me?
Yeah.
It's just people need to think about before you pull a prank. What's it going to lead to? Can it do damage? Can it do it in the long term?
Yeah.
Can it ruin someone's life? If it does, don't do it. And then if you do it again, make sure it's something harmless.
Yeah.
Something that can just go, ha ha ha, yeah, funny, done.
6 months in jail for shooting her boyfriend dead in a stunt gone horribly wrong. Mona Lisa Perez, just 20 years old, was asked by her boyfriend, Pedro Ruiz, to shoot him basically at point-blank range. He was going to hold a thick book in front of his chest, believing that the book would stop the bullet from penetrating his skin. But of course, the book didn't stop anything. The bullet pierced the book, entered Pedro, and killed him. Obviously, the prankster had not intended to kill her boyfriend. She's a mother of 2, and now a convicted felon. She has already pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter. The reason she only got 6 months is because it had obviously been an accident. According to Norman County Attorney James Bruce, the sentencing was given because everyone agreed that it was a foolish stunt dreamed up and planned by the deceased, and the defendant had relied on his assurance that the stunt would be safe.
Yeah,
Still,
it's not. I know where they're coming from. It's technically not her fault.
I don't understand.
It's his stupidity for putting her in that situation.
Yeah, but
that's
she
what
should
it is.
obviously be like, no, this bullet's going to go through that freaking box.
Yeah, no, but obviously, if you love your partner, you're going to believe what he says, aren't you?
She is not allowed to make any financial gain from discussing the case online. What's the worst prank you've ever pulled?
Damn.
Let us know in
The
the
worst
comments.
prank I've ever
Thanks
pulled
for
is-
watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
I'd say the worst prank as I ever pulled is oh god, no, it's just going back. Probably when in my old house I used to have an attic right up upstairs, and because my sisters are scared of spiders, and you know them big robotic spiders you can get.
Yeah.
I did that and left a crack open so the spider'd walk out and drop. Not knowing that one of my sisters was going to come up, because I was trying to practice it, but obviously as I was trying to do it, get it right, the spider walked out, dropped, and then she fell backwards downstairs. I didn't, at first I was laughing my ass off, but then she was sat back going, "Aah!" trying to get help.
Oh, damn.
Fuck. She's alright, no what happened, she didn't break no bones, it just knocked the wind out of her.
The worst prank I did, in the UK we have bunk beds. They probably have them somewhere else, but call them something else, and it's basically a metal framing of 2 beds literally stacked on top like that. Well, my sister were on the bottom and I'm on the top, and she got so angry at one point. I got angry, not she got angry. So I was there, and the metal bars, I was shaking them like that, and literally the whole bunk bed just come falling down and collapsed on the floor.
Oh,
My
God.
sister started crying and ran downstairs to my mum. It was hilarious.
Just a toppling tale of double beds going, woo!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's the worst prank you've ever done?
Please leave it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. And if there's enough comments and stuff, we'll probably make a reaction on
Yeah, we'll read them out and have a laugh.
Yeah.
It'll be funny. But I hope you guys really enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bells because you'll be the first one to know when we upload. And we love you all. Appreciate you all. Peace out.